Okay, today's guests are often chastised for naming their band after what some consider the worst Judas Priest song in history. Youngstown's Ohio Turbo Lovers are a three-piece rock and roll party that's equal parts bravado, swagger, and fun. Here to talk with us about their new album, Working Blue, let's welcome BJ Lisko. BJ.
What's going on, Robert? I couldn't have said it better myself.
Yeah, so tell us a little bit about putting this new album together here, Working Blue.
Yeah, man. So the Turbo Lovers has been around as a recording project since as early as 2003. It started as became a full band in 2006. The lineup that is with now, these guys joined me in 2011, and it's been the same lineup ever since then. This is our fourth full length. Yeah, man. We just wanted to put out another. Just another kick-ass rock record. I think it takes us a little while to do it because everybody's got full-time jobs. Everybody's busy with a lot of other stuff. But no, man. I mean, we're excited about the record. We're excited about putting it out. We think it's it kind of falls in line with what we've been doing ahead of this. But there's a couple little curveballs on there too. A little bit more of the '80s influence kind of showing on some of the tracks, man. But yeah, man, we're really proud of it.
Yeah, definitely. I was reading in an interview that I think you stated your songs are basically about drinking, rocking, bad relationships, and bad luck. That kind of sums it up, right?
Pretty much, man. Pretty much that, all that stuff, and then just me being a head case. So there's usually a song or two a record about me just losing my mind or trying not to lose my mind. You know what I mean? And using rock to kind of come back to earth.
Yeah, and your music's been featured on some theme songs for some podcasts. You guys are on That Rocks. The YouTube show with Eddie Trunk, Don Jameson, and Jim Florentine as well there.
Yeah, man. It's cool. I've known Jim and Don for quite a few years. I used to be an entertainment writer for the Canton Repository in Canton, Ohio, and I did that. I had my own entertainment magazine in Youngstown for a while. So whenever those guys were in town, I would interview them and stuff. So I got to know them that way, and then we just kind of became friends through that. And then Jim had asked us, it asked me if I'd be interested in doing a new version of his podcast theme originally, and then we did that. That was a tune called Reckless Love from a couple albums ago, and then he needed another one for That Rocks when they were doing that the YouTube show, sort of the YouTube version of that metal show a little bit, and yeah, man, it was just it worked out well, man. So yeah, I'm glad I wish the show was still running, but I'm glad that they used it though, because it definitely gave us a lot of exposure.
Yeah, definitely cool. And you guys have shared the stage with some great artists here. I was going through your list. Ace Frehley, Loverboy, Sebastian Bach, Warrant, Jackal, Slaughter, Stephen Pearcy, Doc, and just to name a few of these bands you guys have either played with or opened for. Anything you can share with us about any of those shows? Anything memorable for you that comes to mind?
Yeah, man. I mean, yeah. Gosh, where do I start? You know what's cool about all those bands? They tell you never meet your heroes. I mean, everybody that I've met that we've opened for has been pretty cool. Everybody's been just super nice, really receptive. I mean, opening for Kicks was always a blast. We opened for them, I think, three different times, and they spoke really, really highly of us, which was great. Opening for Ace Frehley was. I could tell you a story about opening for Ace. So. On the way, so Ace had a band that was I believe a buy-on band, and I don't know if your listeners don't know what a buy-on band is. So if a band goes out on tour, bands can buy onto the whole tour, right? They pay a price, whatever, and it helps cover costs for the headliner and stuff like that. And I think he had a buy-on band that actually dropped off right before right before the show. And so yeah, on the way there, normally you're playing like a half hour ahead of these guys as an opener or whatever, but they gave us a full hour, which was. They asked us if we could play a full hour. I was like, well, yeah, hell yeah, that'd be great. We actually played longer than I think Ace did, to be honest with you. But it was really cool because the show was sold out, and like the whole time, you kind of had Kiss fans are diehards, man, right? I'm a Kiss fan too, and they're extremely diehard. But everybody's just kind of like arms sort of crossed, and they're kind of getting into a little bit, and kind of some like a decent response, I would say. Nothing like overwhelming, but so I could run over to the merch table after the show, and it's like crickets, man. There's not a single person coming to see us at a merch. Normally you get done, you run over to the merch table, whatever, and you sell a lot of stuff. And I'm thinking, oh man, I guess diehard Kiss fans didn't really like us. That wasn't the case at all, actually. Just nobody wanted to move from their spot because it was like kind of at a smaller club, and so they bought us out of our merch after the show. Like everything. So it was great. It ended up being one of one of the best experiences we've ever had as a band.
Oh, that's amazing. Yeah, definitely. And I can understand that from, not wanting to give up your spot.
Mhm.
If it's especially if it's a smaller venue and you're kind of close up and you want to see your rock and roll legend, right? Ace
Yeah, right.
Frehley up there, you want to take your shots and definitely be able to see that, one last time. Excellent.
Mhm.
And Kix was an amazing band. I don't think they're performing any longer. I think they hung it up, right? They stopped performing.
Yeah, they called it quits. They had some guys have some health problems, and man, their drummer actually had a heart attack on stage and was revived on stage, which was crazy. He actually came back, I think, to do their finale and stuff there too. And yeah, I just think they had just had some, getting older, just some health problems in the band and stuff too. I mean, I think that there's their singer Steve Whiteman, who's another super nice guy and just an incredible singer. I think he wasn't performing up to the capacity that he felt he should be at. So instead of just instead of staying too long at the party, you know what I mean? They kind of bowed out gracefully, man. But yeah, I definitely miss Kix because those guys are great, man. I mean, just some unbelievable material and stuff over the years from them.
Yeah, definitely so many great tracks from them, and definitely I think a very underrated band. If
Yeah.
people aren't really familiar with them, so many good songs they put out, and definitely, but very very cool. All right, man. So what's going on next for you guys? You got some, I think you got some shows in the works coming up. I was seeing on your site.
We got a few. We got one here. So we're from Youngstown, Ohio. We got one on December 20th here at a local bar called the Royal Oaks. It's kind of our local watering hole, sort of our home away from home. It's just a little dive bar, man. We set up our stuff and make a lot of racket in there. We have a couple on the books for next year. I believe we're doing another club in Hubbard, Ohio called the New Manhattan. That's February 28th. And then we're playing West Side Bowl, which is a really rad club. It's a bowling alley / music venue here in Youngstown. That's on March 7th. There'll be a bunch of other stuff too, I'm sure. We're kind of just waiting to see. Normally, like we're one of the go-to bands for a lot of these bands that come, touring through. Obviously, is how we get all these gigs. Because stylistically, we fit with so many of those bands. So they all typically announce at the same time, like right after the New Year. So like the first week or two, it's like a mad scramble because there'll be 60 shows announced in 2 weeks, and then it's like, okay, which ones do we want to try to put in for? Or we want to go for? Sometimes they just ask us, whatever too. So there'll be plenty of gigs next year for sure.
Very very cool. And I assume you guys are always working on new material too, as you get a little downtime, right?
Yeah, when we do, I mean, just coming off of putting out the record and stuff, nothing at the moment, whatever. Because like I said, the record just came out, a week or two ago. So yeah, it's just getting the word out about that, and then just playing all these songs live. We played a few of them live in the set, whatever. Actually, on the show we're doing the 20th, we're gonna play the entire records front to back. And I think we're gonna do that a couple times this year, actually, because I mean, it's like it's a bummer when you put out a bunch of new songs, and we got a ton of tunes now. But it's always a bummer when some of them kind of get lost in the shuffle. So we're going to try to kind of give them more of an equal shot throughout. And I think we've already put out 2 videos for this record too, for the tracks Black and Blue and Rock and Roll Casualty. I think we're definitely going to do the next one's going to be Heart to Heart. I think we're going to do a 4th one on that too, just to kind of so half the record will have videos and stuff for it. But just to kind of way to keep sort of the record going in through the new year, because a lot of times I'm sure some of these new bands or bands put out a new record. And it's like, oh, it's like a kind of news for a week, and then it just drops off the face of the earth. So we're going to try to extend that out, at least a few months anyway.
Yeah, everything happens so quickly, right? There's like one news story, and then boom, it's on to the next thing or the next release. Yeah, there's so much music coming out, and I see you guys are taking pre-orders right now on your website for the new album, right? I think it's out November 21st, right?
Yeah, the record's out, so you can order it now. If you want a physical copy on CD, you can stream it anywhere, wherever you stream music. It's on Apple Music, it's on Spotify, it's everywhere. It's on YouTube, whatever as well too. So, but yeah, if you want a physical copy, you go to our Bandcamp page. It's just turbolovers.bandcamp.com, and you can order a physical copy from there.
All right, very, very cool. All right, man. Really like what you guys are doing. That's so great. Thank you for spending some time with us today. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, Robert, hey, man, thank you so much, man. I appreciate you reaching out. And yeah, man, keep fighting a good fight.
All right, cool. So that wraps up this episode of Talk About Rock. Thanks to my guest today, BJ Lisko, and to our audience. We hope you're doing your part by keeping the torch alive and supporting live music wherever you are.